We are going to demo and show every accessory in the game. I'll also try and give an indication of how good I think they are based on a scale I'm going to make up on the spot. So up here we have the HP Plus accessories. Not super helpful. Any single attribute additional, once you start really doing your materia fusion, they tend to be outphased fairly quickly. For early game, absolutely use whatever you have and get the highest percentage HP that you have. But once you start getting status, special abilities with your accessories, that's really where they can come in handy. So we have bronze is 10, iron is 20, titanium 30, carbon 40, platinum 50, and looks like 50 is the max here. And then we transfer from HP plus to MP plus, starting with MP 20, then we jump to MP 40, prevents silence, so it's a dual thing there. That's pretty good. I don't find that silence is a huge detriment in the game, and you can just pack around some remedies, so don't think that's huge. MP 60 prevents silence, MP 80 prevents silence, MP 100 prevents silence. So instead of, if you have a magic build, I would much rather use an accessory to up my magic attack, which is just the magic MAG attribute, than increase my magic parameter. If I don't have a magic accessory, then yes, I can fall back on magic MP plus, but not my first choice. AP percentage up 20, AP 40 prevents stun. Stun's pretty good, but endure is much better. AP 60, AP 80, sky is 100. These accessories are also good to be used in materia fusion. So if you have like an AP plus attribute and you add these, you can add more AP plus to it. However, when you fuse with these items, it tends to change the outcome of your materia, so just keep an eye out for that. So now we have the attack materia. Wristband is 5, power wrist is 10, hyper wrist 20, Kaiser knuckles 30. Looks like 30 might be the max there. 30 is not bad. If you're doing an all attack build and you have 4 Kaiser knuckles, that's 120 attack. Combined with your natural attack, you could be upwards of 200. That could be pretty good. Now we have vitality. This is physical defense, and the names here seem to reinforce the physical defense nature. Bulletproof vest, vitality plus 30, Shinra Alpha 40, Shinra Beta 60, and Shinra Beta Plus 80. So if you're really dying on a physical attack boss, definitely recommend some Shinra Betas. This is Kaiser Knuckles, I might give a B grade to. Shinra Beta, probably a B grade to. Everything else up until now has been C or below. Now we get into some fun stuff. So earrings, magic 5, circlet, magic 10, hypno crown, magic 20, royal crown, magic 30. So if the other ones were B's, this might be like a B plus rating. In mid and early game, if you do a magic build, it can be really devastating. So if you put all of your accessories and your attributes towards magic, and you can get over 100, 150, that could be really devastating for those early and mid missions and make those just a breeze. So this is magical defense or spirit. Amulet is 30, talisman is 40, tarot card 60, crystal orb 80. 80 is pretty good. Magical defense, I prefer to restart the battle if I die, and usually I do more offensive builds like magic and attack. So I usually don't make room in my builds for, vitality or spirit unless I'm really getting handed with the monster, and it's just really pushing me into the dust and not doing so well. So now we get some combination. Now we're into the kind of special ones. Attack and Vitality 5. Attack and Vitality 10. Prevents poison. Champion Belt. That's not bad. Maybe that's a B. That's a very physical build item. Black Belt. Now this is good. Okay. Much more in the physical. 2020. Prevents poison and curse. Curse stops the DMW. So in a specific battle, that could be really good. Now we have Mithril gloves. I would rank this higher than the muscle belt because it is both attack magic and attack physical. Diamond gloves. This is a really good one. This is attack 10 both and prevent silence. Definitely a really good one there. And then crystal gloves. Until you get really good into the late game, this I think is something I always have equipped. Is just 20-20, both attack, prevents the poison and the silence, so you get some nice defense there. Overall, just once I get the crystal gloves, that usually stays in my inventory actively, my builds, for a while. Force bracelet. Now this is the purely magical, but it's upping the defense, so not my personal taste, but it could work if you were really struggling with dodging magic spells. Magic Spirit 5, Magic Spirit 10, prevents poison, Magic Spirit 20, poison and curse. This is all defense, vitality and spirit, magical and physical defense. 5, 10, silence, 20, silence, stun. I don't really like the defense ones. This one can be really good if you're really just breezing through the levels. You can use this, and I think it increases a lot of different parts of your experience. Like the DMW just seems to fall into place. Maybe that's a placebo effect, I'm not sure. But when you max out your luck, so you can steal good luck charms from like Big Tom Berries, and you could equip 2 of them, and then you can just max out your luck stat at, you know, what, 250 or 255, whatever it is. That's a really nice way. I found if you're doing New Game Plus, usually I'll just max out my luck status, my luck stat, because the game is fairly easy early on, and then my attack stat is not so big that the game is just so easy, it's no fun. Okay, so now we have kind of fire items. We have adds fire to attack, and then let's take that off. So that boosts attack, it boosts magic, it boosts a little MP. Looks like it's a fairly offensive plus fire, not too bad. This one also does a few things. MP, Vitality Spirit, so defense, and halves damage from fire attacks. If you're having trouble with Ifrit early on, this one's great. If you're having trouble with Ifrit, this will basically make him almost not hurt you at all. He does have a few physical attacks, but it makes that battle much easier. And then this just makes it a breeze because you're going to absorb the fire attacks instead of nullify them. Plus the MP 30 isn't bad. So there aren't a ton of super ice bosses. I mean, there are, so this would be good against Ifrit and maybe some of those explosive bombs. This ice ring, but I don't know of many really hard bosses that rely on ice attacks. So in this game, these frost and snow that absorbs and nullifies ice abilities aren't super necessary. Lightning looks like very similar to the other ones. You can have the damage, nullify the damage, or absorb the damage. There are some enemies in missions that use Tri-Thundiga or just Thundiga or Dark Thundiga. This one I've definitely equipped when I've died, you know, more than once or twice. I'm like, okay, Bolt Armlet time. This one's a good all-around one. I would rank the Dragon Armlet maybe at a B+. It boosts a lot of your stats. It's a very defensive item, and then it halves all the damage. The Escort Guard is very defensive and gives you some MP. And what's great about the Escort Guard is it just nulls all magic. So if the Dragon Armor is a B+, maybe the Escort Guard is an A-. Very defensive, and if you're having trouble with magic users, this is great. The Wizard Bracelet, definitely something I equip often. Very defensive minded, but it absorbs fire, ice, and lightning. So a lot of the missions you'll fight heavy magic users, and they'll be using fire, ice, and lightning, all of them. And you can intentionally walk into the spell to heal yourself. So I would rate this one at least an A. Yeah, probably a solid A. I don't always use it, but for the enemies that rely heavily on those elemental magics, really nice to have. Element Blade. It sounds cool. You can see it does 10 magic, 10 attack, adds the MP. However, a lot of enemies will nullify a specific element, and so if there's any nullification on your enemy side, your physical attacks just don't do any damage. So I actually lean away from this one. I would say this is actually more like a B- or even a C+. Again, adds all the elements to your damage. Maybe a little bit better because it absorbs. And I love the +10 on everything, but you just always have to go in here and remove it if you find an enemy that can absorb or nullify fire. So, I don't know, maybe a B. Mortal Shock. This one is really fun. If you have this on when you first get it, because it adds death to some abilities and attack, you can just breeze through some missions because you just hit them once and it applies the death attribute, and you can move on, where those enemies can be really tough. So that's a really nice one. That might be like an A-. This one adds poison. It's not bad. B-. Mute, B-, add silence. System Shock, stop. Maybe B. Stop is good, but not many really hard enemies are open to shock or open to stop. Stun, maybe a B. Safety Bit prevents death. It can be good if you're really having trouble with a death caster. This one can be good, but other than that, it just seems to take up space. So very specific battles for this one. Prevents poison. I mean, like a C, C- even. Just poison is really not a threat in this game. Prevents silence. C, C-. Prevents curse. Just use a remedy. Prevents stun. Don't really see it useful at. Prevent stop. These prevent stop. There's this one worm in the game that does absolute thread or absolute stop thread, and it doesn't. These don't prevent that from stopping you. So the one time you really want to prevent stop, it doesn't work. So I have kind of a bad taste in my mouth over that mechanic in this game, because it says right here, prevent stop. And then later on, Ribbon and like Super Ribbon, they still don't prevent stop. So, not in love with that. Prevents poison and silence. So, it prevents everything except death and absolute stop. So, definitely good. At least an A here. If you have room, this is nice. It takes away something you have to think about for every battle. So that is really nice. Super Ribbon. If the other one was A, this probably A+. Super nice. This does death as well. So for those battles that, you know, they're casting death, they're casting stop, they're doing poison, stun, or like any Mulbro fight, doing the super ribbon is really nice so that the bad breath and super bad breath just don't even touch you. They can still hurt you physically, but Omni Status Guard is just great. Cursed Ring, I don't really equip this because it applies the DMW kill. You can see that 777 with the red X. It does plus 10 everywhere, but the DMW can just come out of nowhere and make a hard battle really easy with, you know, a healing wave or a really nice limit break. So I don't think these are worth it. Barrier active, I'd rather equip a wall with Spirit plus 100 and then just keep up with the status than use an accessory slot for barrier or M barrier. Protect isn't bad, but it's not, I don't think it's worth an accessory slot. Maybe a B-. Keep Regan active. Regan, it's just not really going to give you that longevity. I would just manage your health with potions and a smart consumer rather than a fairy ring. Now this one is at least an A, maybe even A+. At least an A. It keeps Endure status active. If you're farming for items to mug or killing enemies, you always have Endure. You can't be thrown off your rhythm. Like if you swing a sword and someone hits you, you get to complete your action no matter what. Almost no matter what. There are still some attacks, but I'd say for 98% of the attacks out there, you cannot be stopped. And so if you combine this with a Mog's Amulet and a Brigand's Glove, you can guarantee a steal and then just get out of the battle, or it just makes grinding and farming so nice. So this is probably an A+ for me. Doesn't seem like much, but oh man, it just makes battles really nice when you're just farming for a specific item. Sniper Ipe keeps critical status active. It's nice, but I don't know, B-. Luck plus 10, doubles gil dropped. If you're farming for gil, sure. But I think there are better ways to get gil than using Precious Watch. Jeweled Ring, doubles item drop. Definitely an A on this one. If you're getting Dark Matters from worms, equipping this will double your farm rate if you have room in your build for it. Definitely a nice one to have. And the luck is always nice to have too. So probably an A on this. Mog's Amulet, I would say this is S tier, maybe S-. Always guarantees what you steal or items dropped are the rare variety. So when you're farming for specific items, I don't know what the percentage is. It might be like 2% or 10%. This just makes it 100%. So if there's a rare drop of SP Master that's super low probability, you equip this, now it's 100%. It does take a little bit of that like frustration out of farming that is in most games, which I don't know if I like that or I hate that, but as soon as I get my first Mog's Amulet, it's basically on every build I do, except for a really hard boss where I need that slot to do something else, more defense or something. So definitely, I would say S on Mog's Amulet. Just absolutely wonderful. Brigand's Glove guarantees a successful steal. I don't mind trying to steal a few times. Usually this one gets cut out just barely from my builds. If you're farming steals, it can be good. Maybe A on this one. Automatically use a potion. I can find that the automatic use a potion can put you in danger of a big hit. So I'd actually put this down at like C or maybe even a D. It's a cool idea, but it stops you from like controlling Zack. Like you get hit and then he pulls out a potion, then you can get hit again and now you're dead. So really frustrating. If it used it automatically without the animation, it'd be amazing, but I really don't like that one. Parameter break 3 times. So my AP right now, my max is 373. When you break your parameter using the DMW, you can actually get a temporary over limit of, let's say, like 500. If you equip this, then that 500 can turn into like 1500. Really, really cool. Usually don't have room in my accessories for it, but it is a cool idea. Maybe a B. Counterattack, never really had use for it. I like to control Zac, and especially with some specific enemies, if you needlessly swing or just, you know, force that swing constantly, and if that's taken away from you, you could be putting yourself in more danger. So I would put this as a C. If it was a free counterattack, absolutely great, but not so great. Now we're getting into really cool ones. Power suits. So this does attack, like all of the physical, super high. This is also increasing max HP. Let's go over here to a brand new one here. This is upping my HP. You can see to the limit of. Let's do break parameter limit. Where is it? There we go. So HP limit. Let's see how much it brings it up. So yeah, like quite a bit from where it was. Now it's 12,000 max, plus the attack and vitality 100. So if you're entering a purely physical build or purely physical battle, excellent. This is probably A+ or S-. Same with energy suit. This is all the magic attributes. It does decrease your HP, but if you're entering into a magical fight or a magical build and you just want to hit like a hammer with your spells, I would actually put both these as S-, definitely. Assault charge, meh, it's not bad. It is actually 50 is not bad, but by the time you get this item, you're so late in the game that you have better ones. Like, I'd much rather do a power suit than an assault charge or an energy suit instead. Gold hairpin. I don't think MP break is that important of an item, so I would put this down at least a C, if not lower. Black cowl, same thing. You just don't need that much AP. You can get a DMW spin that gives you permanent AP expenditure 0 for the whole battle, and then these are just wasted accessory locations. This one's not bad. I'd rather buy ethers. There's better things you can equip than stop expending MP. Same, just not super impressed with these. So Magic Master, I'd rather have the energy suit. See, I wonder what the difference here is. Okay, so -64, -61, plus 100, 100. Yeah, see, this one minuses less on the attack and vitality. But seems this one has all the negative effects and then they're amplified. So definitely energy suit over this. If you don't have the energy suit, I mean, this is definitely a solid B+, maybe even an A-. I think this is similar to the Magic Master, but it's the physical version, so B+, A-. This one you usually equip because you get it fairly early on, at least an A, because if you combine this with Costly Punch, that's one of the earliest ways you can break damage past the 9,000 really easy. This one's S-, sets damage limit at, you know, 99,000 instead of the normal 9,999. So get this early on. This usually stays in your accessories slot, so you can take out enemies that just have ridiculous HPs. Yeah, definitely S- on this one. Zeidrich, this is definitely one of the best in the whole game. Plus attack 100, vitality 100, magic 100, spirit 100. It's both attack and defense. A solid 100 across the board. And this actually frees up your materia, so I would say S on the Zeidrich. Really, really good for those really hard battles. And this even made it into my build for the Minerva fight. Genji helm. So not all the Genji items are created the same. So stops expending MP and AP, adds Libra. That's probably a solid A for me. Not quite the same as S. It's nice, and it makes it really nice because you don't need to use ethers or somas. But Libra is just not fabulous. So, I mean, it's nice, but this one, however, you can replace your Adman Bangle with Genji armor. So this is S plus for me. This is definitely the top tier Genji armor. Sets HP limit to the max, which is something you really want for those late missions. Endure, which is already by itself an excellent item. So this is the headband thrown in here. And Regen status, that's just the cherry on top. You can, with the combination of this, you'll restore 5 to 10,000, you know, just by standing around. So instead of using potions, you can just run around and just get full health. So S plus, this is one of the top items of the whole game. This one, I would also say S plus on Genji Shield. Barrier and barrier, everything hits so much less. Absorbs all elements. So most magic spells you just absorb now, and nulls all ailments, which is like, I think it's the ribbon. It may not be the super ribbon, but maybe it is the super ribbon. So you don't really need to worry about poison, stun, stop, you know, silence, nothing. It's just excellent. So S plus on the shield and the armor. The glove, it's really nice to break that damage limit. Not quite as good as the other two, but definitely necessary to break that damage limit. So maybe S. And then the last two, Divine Slayer. This is a solid all-around boost, and it breaks attack, HP, MP, AP limits, so your attack can break. I actually would put this at S plus too. On New Game Plus, you may not want to just go through the whole game with Genji, armor, shield, and glove. This is a really great way to just cover all your limit breaks, and then you can equip like the Mog's Amulet on top of this. The problem with the Genji items is they take up 3 slots. This one, you can break everything at once, and it's a really great way to play around with different accessories. So, yeah, maybe S plus. So these 4 are the best, absolutely. This one disables your DMW, but it has almost everything. It has dual cast. It has endure. It has auto potion. It has rare drops. I mean, this Haiki Soul is way overpowered, and it would be the best item in the whole game, except for it disables the DMW. So because it disables the DMW, I think I would rate it at maybe a B, maybe even lower, because you really can't play it and still experience the limit break part of the game and the randomness of the games. The battle becomes more predictable and less random, and I think that takes away something from the design of the game. Okay, that is all the accessories, and before you start a new game, I'd recommend farming for some of them, specifically the Genji items. Armor, shield, and glove are not super hard to get if you know how to do it. So definitely get those before your New Game Plus, or before you go to fight Minerva. Thank you.